Hello everybody, welcome to today's tutorial on different types of closures for bookmaking. I'm Cindy the Scrapologist and I'm excited to show you step 2 of how to create your own junk journal from start to finish. Today is some creative ways to put book closures on your junk journals. These are also good techniques for mini albums. So let's dive right in. Now, the reason why this is step 2 and we're not doing the closure at the end is because some of these techniques require you to use or apply your closure to the inside of your book before you put your paper down. So this is a good time to decide what kind of closure you're going to have. And I'm not really going to talk about dangles too much today, but this is also a time to decide if you're going to have a dangle on your spine, because as you can see here, my closure was popped through the spine and it's going to show on the inside, and we're going to need to I needed to cover that. So not only do you want to think about your closure at this point, but whether or not you're going to be sticking something on the spine of the book. But again, this is about closures, not about dangles. That's something that's a little more advanced, and this is just a basic step-by-step junk journal tutorial. So the first type of closure I want to talk about is a ribbon closure. There are a variety of ways to use ribbon or cloth or string or anything of that sort, any type of sewing material as closures for your books. And let me just show you a variety. Throughout this tutorial, I'm going to try to show you examples, but I don't have examples of everything. So I'm going to try to show you as many as I can. So here is a piece of sari silk, and this is a fabric journal. I'm going to show you two fabric journals first, and then a hardcover, and then a soft cover. So for fabric journals, it could be as simple as, well, maybe I'll have to untie this a little bit. I poked a hole through the cover and then just strung my ribbon through the hole, and then tied it here like so, and I did the same for the back. And you can put an eyelet here if you want, but for this one that I made, you can't really see the hole, so I didn't mind not having an eyelet there, but you certainly can do that. So now you have 4 pretty pieces of sari silk, and you can then tie those, and you have a gorgeous closure. So that's super fun to do if you have some of this. You can use any material you have on hand. The other fabric journal closure that I like to do is for this one. This entire journal, including the inside pages, I'm not done yet, is fabric, which is really fun. So I wanted to have definitely a fabric type closure. This is eyelash trim that somebody gifted to me. And all I did for this, you can't really see it, but I set it down when I was sewing this edge here. And I literally just sewed it to the book. And then I put a piece of pretty lace over it on each side. So it's just sewn on. It's not going anywhere. It is securely fixed. You could have it going this way around to the back like I do, or you can sew it on like this. It doesn't really matter. And I always like to do 2 strands because then you can go around. Of course, this one I haven't trimmed yet, but you can go around and tie it. Or if you want double the thickness, you can wrap both strands around and stick it under there. So I haven't quite decided what I'm doing with this yet, and I have a big boo-boo there which I need to fix. So still working on this one, but this is not going anywhere. This is going to be on there as long as this journal lasts. This closure will be on there. So those are ribbon closures for fabric books. This is a file folder book, so this is very soft. This is the very first junk journal I ever made. It's kind of funny to look through, and the signatures are really bad. They're just not sewn in there very tight at all, but it's fun, it's squishy, and I still like to kind of look at it every once in a while just to see how far I've come. But for this one, again, here's just a piece of ribbon that I had in my stash, and again, just like the other one, I sewed it on. So I put this paper on here first. For this one, I wanted the sewing to show on the back, but I covered it on this side. So I just set the piece of ribbon down, I sewed right over it, and I did the same on the back. And you can see the sewing there, which is fine. I didn't mind that. And in retrospect, I would make these a little longer. Again, my first journal, don't laugh. and then you can tie it. So that's a really simple idea for a soft cover. Let's talk about ribbon closures for a hardcover journal. Oh, wait, I have one other ribbon closure. So, for hardcover books, this is another option. Oh, actually, I did it the same on both of these. Okay, so for this one, before I put my end pages on, this one is fabric, this one is wallpaper, I took a piece of ribbon, and this one's not long enough, but you'll get the idea. I just took a piece of ribbon and I glued it down to the cover and the spine, and then I put my end papers on. So can't really see it. I don't know if you can see a little bit of the ribbon under there. You can kind of see a little bit of a bump. And then you just close it and you just tie it up at that point. I would go a little longer than this. This is just a short piece that I had. I decided to use it, but it's always better to go a little longer. So I did the same thing on this one. I had a really long piece of, I put two on the front and one on the back. I'm not sure why I did that, but I put this is just bed sheet that I got at a thrift store, a bed sheet or a pillowcase. I tore it or cut it into strips, and then I coffee or tea stained it. So that's all this is. And then I laid it flat on the book cover, glued it down, and then put my fabric and my signature. Oh, there's the other one. Okay, I did do two. There we go. So that is, then again, you just tie it. And this one's made from an antique book. Love it. This is the second journal I ever did. Okay, so those are different options for ribbon closures. Oh wait, one thing I forgot about too as an option. Let me get my ribbon back. There we go. The other thing you can also do with a ribbon closure is once your signatures are sewn in, you can pass the ribbon through all of your signatures. I'm not going to do all of them because I don't want to pull on them. And that can be the way it stays in place and doesn't fall off. You can also just glue it to the spine if you wanted. So I just wanted to mention that quickly as well. This next closure is just what I'm going to call the button and thread closure. It's just a button that has thread looped around it that you can wrap around your book, and then when it comes around the other side, you loop it around the button again. I'm going to show you that in a minute, but I would not recommend it for hardcover books. I do see a lot of people gluing the button and the thread on, but I just don't think that glue is going to hold up over time. I don't trust it, so I would not use this method for a hard or thick cover book. But of course, do whatever you want. If you really want to give that a go, then go for it. But it's not my recommendation. This is a really good method for anything that you're going to be able to hand sew through. So let's see which side I want and how I want this oriented. I think I'll go with this side. And here I just have some embroidery thread. I'm going to grab one piece of that. I'm going to just sew my button on. I'm just going to start by poking holes where I want my button to be. Okay, so I can see from this side where to start. This thread is tearing for some reason. It's really cheap embroidery thread, but you get the idea. So then I'm just going to sew a very tight knot on this side, snip off the end, and even though we're going to put something over here, I do like to put just a dot of glue on the knot just to hold it in place. Okay. And then your closure is ready. So you can just go around the book, and this is obviously too long, and then just circle around like that and you have your closure. This is just a real simple example on a scrap project that I had lying around, but that's the button closure. And lastly, I just want to show you a bunch of miscellaneous things that you can use as closures and some other things that you can do. So for this one, I put an eyelet. This is a soft cover one that I made out of wallpaper from my shop, backed by fabric. I guess you can see the eyelet better there. So I put an eyelet, and then I just did a slip knot with some embroidery floss through that, and then I just wrap this around, and I put a couple of little metal pieces on the end of both of the strings that just tucks under there, and you have a really pretty closure for this. This is a wallet style junk journal. The other thing that I really like to do is sometimes, depending on the style of your book, you can take, this is a mini album that I made, you can take a tag. This is actually a tag that I cut using my Sizzix machine, and I scored it. This right here is the width. It's the same width as my spine. So I scored it so that it folds over like this. And then I took a brad, popped it through, and then covered it, and glued the ribbon underneath the two pieces of paper. So then this over here is another piece that I glued under this chipboard, and it ties together like so. So that's really fun way to secure a mini album or a journal. And you can, of course, oh, I have a video that I did that I'll link up there, on how I made book closures from little chokers that I got in the jewelry department in the clearance area at Walmart. So I'll put that up above. If you want to actually spend money on your closures, there are a whole variety of things available on the market. So this, I think these are Tim Holtz, not sure, but you can actually, I'll use my hardcover as an example. You can actually put doorknobs on. There are these things called hitch fasteners. I'll pull one out. These are Tim Holtz. Okay, they look like screws, and there's two pieces, the male and the female, and you would put it through your book and put the other one on the other side, and they screw together. So that's an option. Again, these are called hitch fasteners. Tim Holtz also has little belt buckles. So you would just put it on your book there, and you put a brad through it. And then you would somehow need to affix a piece of leather or ribbon or something on this side, and it would come through your belt buckle. These are closures that I got from Spare Parts, and these only work if you have, I guess it would work on here, something like this. You would put this on, and you would put, here's the knob part, you would put it here, so this goes over your little knob. Again, I'm not really prepared to do a tutorial about this, but you can see how that would. But that only works if your one of your covers is overlapping the cover like this, if you have a lap book or this tag kind of closure. So those are called antique gold closure handles from Spare Parts. And there are all kinds of other miscellaneous things that you can use. Well, here's one of those belt buckles. So that would go on there. You can buy this style of belt buckle. I like these, and I actually don't know what you call these. I'm sorry. I use these a lot. I affix these to the end of my ribbons or any kind of book. But one end is a circle like that. The other end is a bar, and that bar goes up through the circle. Hopefully that makes sense. You put the bar up through the circle, and both of these, and this would be affixed to a piece of ribbon. So, and then there's all kinds of other little metal things that you can do if you don't necessarily want a closure. There's little door handles that you can put on, and you can stick things under there. So that's just a really quick overview of some of the things you can actually purchase. And also think about thrift stores as well. This is a really ugly belt. Sorry if you like this, but this is a belt that I got at a thrift store for like a quarter or 50 cents or something like that. But it's made with suede, and I like these pieces. Those would look nice on a book cover. And I like these little beads. And then the ends look, well, it's all tangled up right now, but look at all these pieces of suede. My goodness, I should have untangled this first. Look at all these pieces of suede, and all of them have these little beads on the end. So I probably, for this book, since this is a masculine book, I'm either going to have no closure at all. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with this old age up here and some of this writing. So I'm not quite sure about the closure yet, but I might just wrap some of this suede right around the book cover since I'm making a masculine book. So I hope that that gives you an idea for your book. If you're in the Junk Journal Adventure Club, please keep sharing on the either in my Patreon or the Junk Journals on a Budget Facebook group. That's where we're doing the adventure. This is step 2. It's not too late to join. It's a free class, and I would love to see. I've seen a lot of your covers, and I'd love to see your closures too. Let's make sure that we share. That's part of the fun. So, the next video, step 3, we'll be talking about signatures. That should be out next week. I'm trying to upload one video a week, and that's my goal. I hope I can meet that for you all, and love to see your projects, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.